All right, so this is question 19, and it's looking pretty similar to question 18, but with one key difference, I'd say. Instead of using an enhanced for loop, we are using, I guess, a regular indexing for loop, so to speak. Besides that, I think the really only difference is that this is M and that's O. This is still public, right? This is public and it does the same thing. So yeah, essentially the same question, different for loop is all. Right, so let's go through it line by line, starting from main. We got this array, right? This array pointer that points to an array of size 3, the arrays of type test, right? And then what are we doing here? Let me go make this like ever so slightly bigger. All right, cool. What are we doing here? Right, we're declaring this local variable index. I'll denote it as IDX, right, equal to 0. And we're just, like, is 0 less than 3? Of course it is, right? So we're good here. We're looking at array of index 0 is equal to a new test. All right, so what do we have to do here? We have to, well, make a new test for array index 0. Test. And what does it do? What does it do when I run it through the default constructor? It just assigns its data equal to O. Right, so we'll just assign its data equal to O. And it looks like we can just move on, right? So we do index plus plus. And we have to check it through our conditional again, so it's 1 less than 3, question mark? Yes. Yes, it is. It's a true statement. So we can go over here, go to array index 1, make a new test. Since we already know what the default constructor is going to do, we can just kind of make a new test object with the contents of O, right? And then, of course, we'll do the same thing with, we'll increment index, check the conditional, 2 is less than 3, we're good. And then array of index 2 is equal to a new test. All right, cool. And we're basically done, right? Of course, index is going to be incremented to 3, and then you do is 3 less than 3? Of course not, right? So then we're out, and index is kind of just taken away because it was a local variable to this for loop. Right? So we don't have to be concerned about index anymore. Now we're looking at array of index 1 is equal to a new test. If you want, you can erase this, but then you'll end up making the same test again. So it's up to you, right? And then you look down here, array of 1 dot data is equal to m, and that's totally fine because this data field is public, right? So we're gonna make this data object, the object, I guess. Okay, let me reword this. The data of that object is going to be set to 10, or wow, m. Okay, it's gonna be one of those days. But yeah, that's these two lines done. Now we have to see what this does. It's going to do the same exact thing as the problem before it, right? So it's just going to go through the array. Let's write it out, right? We make this local variable t. It's a type test. I guess I should really draw an arrow here. And then it kind of copies over what array of index 0 has, right? It has this object, right? This object that holds O, and the object is of type test. That's good because T is also of type test. And then it kind of prints it out. So what does it mean to print out an object? It means to invoke that object's toString method, right? And we defined it as I guess, our toString method, right? So all we're going to do is print its data. So down here we can just print O, right? And then we move on, right? We're going to move on to the next index, right? So now I'm going to copy over the contents of array 1 into T, just the same object but with an M in it, right? So then I'm going to print out T now. So I invoke T's toString method, and then I print out M, because that is the data of T. And then of course we'll do the same thing with index 2, O. And then, I'm just going to print out T, right? So I'll print out O. So it does look like that as an answer. It looks like that is C. Let's go check our answer. And yeah. Well, actually, wait. So let's see. Yeah. It looks like C is the answer you would want to choose. I'll see you guys in the next video.